Well, to completely change the pace, join Ben, who meets the young men and women in our army.
That's right, thank you, Vuli and Aisha. Nestled in the heart of the CBD that is Parramatta is the Defence Force Recruitment Office. And today, Chatterbox is very honoured to be able to witness the event that is their weekly enlisting day. That's the day where new recruits officially join the Army in their initiation ceremony. This being Chatterbox, we thought we'd take a different angle on this, and we're going to have a look at the cultural diversity and multiculturalism within today's Defence Force. Because remember, it wasn't too long ago that if you weren't white, you weren't welcome in the Army. Today, that's a whole different story.
We get a large diversity of different backgrounds that come through Defence Recruiting, and we're an equal opportunity employee here at Defence Recruiting, and regardless of religion or race or your background, you can go through the Defence Recruiting and become a member of the Australian Defence Force.
1 in 10 people who go through the recruiting process to join the Defence Force make it through. So you were in that top 10% who have made it through today, so congratulations.
My job here is to assess the eligibility of candidates into the Defence Force. So basically I give them their final interview and decide whether or not they should be enlisted into the service.
Do you think it's important that the Army represents the balance that is multicultural in Australia?
I mean, it's the Australian Army, so I mean, with the Australian Army you get the multiculturalism that is Australia, so absolutely, yeah.
All the boys can, learn from each other, different backgrounds and stuff, so yeah, plenty of things to learn.
I think over the last 20 years it's probably been more of a trend than what it has been in the past. I think it's a great thing because our country is very diverse and it shows the diversification.
Because my grandson was in cadets and there was many nationalities in that and they all get along and all support each other and it's good to see.
We are a multicultural nation and this is our country. You know, if you're whatever culture you are, you live in this country, this is our country.
Being a part of the Australian Defence Force is being, patriotic to our country and looking after our nation. Obviously the people that apply to be in the Australian Defence Force want to give back to Australia. I think in going over and supporting Australia's interests in the nation, in the international scene, isn't necessarily taking away from their origins and their heritage. I mean, we are only a small percentage of the community, but I think the current members within the Australian Defence Force in all 3 services reflects the percentage of the multiculturalism in Australia.
As I say, good guys, bad guys. Doesn't matter what nationality they are. If we believe that the cause is right, doesn't matter who's on the other side. Simple as that.
My son is born in Australia, this is his country. And at the end of the day, I hope he doesn't have to fight anywhere. It's very sad for a mum to see her child go.
Noam Chomsky.
Very excited actually, because we've actually went to listen to his lectures and it was very exciting and we're very happy to have him here today and very honoured as well.
We didn't realise the potential of the huge diversity of the children in not only in this school but in this region, and how much it adds to the colour and the strength and the vitality and the interest of a country like Australia. This is where the chemistry is occurring.
At this point, we would like to introduce to you Professor Noam Chomsky, the recipient of the Sydney Peace Prize Award. Please welcome him to the stage.
Thank you all for the very warm welcome, the dramatic entry that was unusual and impressive.
Every recipient of the Peace Prize has come down here over the last 9 years, I think, and it's very special. It symbolizes peace.
Good morning, my name is Augustine. What narrative do you think the US is preparing to accompany a possible attack on Iran, and why exactly is Iran a threat?
It's a very good question. It's a very important one. In fact, right now, if you read the the literature on strategic analysis, intelligence agencies and so on in the West, I presume in Australia, they describe the worst, the most dangerous situation in the world as the threat that Iran might develop nuclear weapons. Notice, might develop. There are other, in fact, Iran is one of the few countries in the region that doesn't have nuclear weapons.
Their bodies were forward,
as I mentioned.
Their eyes were open, their ears were straining, and they were totally engaged in what he had to offer. And he was so generous answering their questions. And they were good questions, but he didn't talk down to the children. He spoke to them with honesty and integrity, and they appreciate that. Children and young people pick that up very quickly. And so what he had to offer them was beyond what they'll ever get in a textbook, what they'll ever get from any, news report. It goes so much deeper.
What does it feel like to be the recipient of the Sydney Peace Prize?
Well, it's a great honor, obviously. I'd like to be able to live up to the accolades, which are far beyond anything deserved. I'm glad to join the company of people who've received it before, people I very much respect, some of them good personal friends for many years, and the whole environment is very exciting and stimulating and inspiring, so it feels good. And in fact, today was the peak of it in many ways. I wish it was not just me, but the legacy of my generation. I mean, I wish it was a more positive one. It's not. It's a legacy that we can hardly be proud of. We've left a world with facing enormous problems, facing even the possibility of species extinction. Humans have reached the point where they can destroy the possibility of decent human survival. And the problems are, we're leaving them to people like these kids here to solve. And they have a lot of responsibility. It's a unique moment in human history.
1, 2, 3.
You see them fly into the sky. It's like a symbol of peace.
It was very inspiring and very thoughtful. Makes you think a lot about the future and how we can achieve peace.
It's a good opportunity to get to know him, just to talk to him, have that 2-second chat, find out more. It inspires us to push towards peace as well more.
Like the way we're living is very hard and controversy, and like you see in the Middle East, there's still war in Northern Eastern Africa, still war going on, still war in the streets, still people screaming for peace. You must see us smiling from the outside, but inside we're bleeding, you know.
I mean, he gave them a lot to think about. You could hear a pin drop in the assembly hall when he was speaking. And this is one of the greatest intellectuals in the world, and he's in the heart of Cabramatta. So today, I think, was almost about legacy building for not only the Cabramatta area, but for young people. Today we saw a room full of future leaders or potential future leaders.
There are many things out there that young people like me can't really comprehend. So to have Professor Chomsky to sort of explain and extrapolate all those issues is really inspiring.
One day, one moment in time, one child, that's all we need to do. And he did it for 2,000 children.
Peace and